What's up, everybody? Cole from GeekLyfe Gaming here, and I'm coming at you with another Vanguard deck profile. I'm going to say this once. This is how I like to play the deck. If you have constructive criticism, that's fine. If you're just going to come in and be a dick, we're going to ignore you. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to get into it. So this is a Death Anchor build. I've seen some people build the deck without using Death Anchor, but this one is specifically No Life King Death Anchor. So for the starting grade 0, Vermilion Gatekeeper, when rode upon, draw a card. They didn't really have any other choice for a starting grade 0. I know a few clans early on got a few different choices, but really the only one for Irregulars is Vermilion Gatekeeper. We have 4 of the Draw Trigger Perfect Guard, March Rabbit of Nightmare Land, so he's the sentinel for the deck. We are running 8 criticals in this deck, so we are running 4 of the Warlock's Gefreiter and 4 of the Blitzritter. So there's our 8 criticals that we're running. And then we are running 4 heal triggers, and it is the only heal trigger they have, the Cursed Doctor. So that rounds out the grade 0s. Next up for the grade 1s, we have 3 Prisoner Beasts. I like to run him at 3. I might bump him up to 4, but he's a really good early game soul charger, so when he is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you soul charge 1. So he's a really useful early and late game soul charger. And then he's a really good mid to late game booster, because when he is so on a Rearguard circle, if you have 5 or more cards in your soul, he gains plus 2,000 power. So that's a grade 1 that gets to 10,000. So he's a really good back row boosting unit. That's mainly what I use him for. Following Prisoner Beast, I am running 4 Doreen the Thruster. So when she is on Vanguard or Rearguard, when your card is put into your soul and due to the ability of your card, this unit will get plus 5,000 until end of turn. So, if in this case, it even has a little thing right down here. So it's plus 10,000 if it's a soul charge 2. So she can get quite powerful in her own right. I run her at 4. Without a doubt, I am keeping her at 4. If I change some of the numbers in my grade 1s, I am still going to run her at 4. Next up, we have 4 of the, it's arguably my favorite card to say in the entire deck, Vrukalakas. Vrukalakas is a triple rare grade 1. So when it is retired from the guard circle, you may soul charge 1. So that's a good soul charging from hand when guarding. It's good. It's a good source of soul charging on your opponent's turn. And when it is put into your soul due to the ability of your card during your turn, choose one of your vanguards, and it gets plus 10,000 power until the end of turn. So he is quite good. He combos well with another card that is in the deck, but if the grade 1s get changed up, he is also staying at 4. So rounding out my grade 1s, I have 4 Werewolf Frey Williger, I believe is how it's pronounced. So he's an 8,000 grade 1. So his act ability, you put him into your soul. You soul charge 1, and one of your units gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. This is why I like running him at 4 and not 3 and Prisoner Beast at 4. I like running him at 4 because where Prisoner and can get up to 10, I am losing a rear guard, but I am getting 2 cards into the soul. I slow down on soul charging once I get like up to 10 or 13 cards in the soul. I slow down quite a bit, but he's really good early game soul filling, so that's why for right now I run him at 4. He would be the one that gets changed if I change up the number of grade 1s. So that's the grade 1s. On to the grade 2s. I run 3 Blood Sacrifice Ruthven. I do not run him at 4. He is a good counter charger, but I don't find myself in a situation enough where I need to counter charge frequently, which is why I only run him at 3. So when he is placed, you put up to 1 card from your damage zone or your drop zone into your soul. And if you put a card from your damage zone, you put the top card of your deck face down into your damage zone. However, he combos with Vrukalakas. So through his effect, if you put Vrukalakas into your soul, that's where you countercharge 1. So he's the card that I was talking about that combos with Vrukalakas. A lot of the time, Vrukalakas ends up in my drop zone and not my damage zone. Occasionally, he ends up in the damage zone, but I normally put Vrukalakas into the soul from the damage zone through Ruthven's effect, so that way I'm getting a counter charge and I'm getting Vrukalakas' effect for when he's put into the soul during my turn. So that's why Ruthven is at 3. Next up, we have 3 Werewolf Seeger. I do only like to run him at 3. So on the Vanguard and Rear Guard, during your turn, if you have 5 or more cards in your soul, he gets plus 5,000 power. So that's pretty good. His auto ability, though, that is only when he's on the Vanguard, and when he attacks a Vanguard, you soul charge 2. And that's why I only run him at 3, because his soul charge 2 is only triggered when he's on the Vanguard and he attacks a Vanguard. So that's why I only run him at 3. Rounding out the grade 2s, we have 4 Gwen the Ripper, and as you can see, I have the pretty OR. But yeah, so I really like Gwen. He normally his ability normally isn't online until later in the game. So when placed, you soul charge 1. Then if you have 10 or more cards in your soul, you counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and retire it. So he is really good as a grade 2. However, like I said, his abilities normally only online in the late game. I think I normally don't ever get his second half of the ability to kick off until I'm already on a grade 3. But I still like to run him at 4. Because if I can hold on to him until the late game, I do have some retires that I can hit, which is really important against some of the decks that I play against at my locals. They really like to flood the field, so that's why I like to run him at 4, because even though he is a very high soul cost to get his retire, it's still a retire, something that the deck does not have a lot of. So that's all the grade 2s, and now we're on to our grade 3s. I run 1 Demon Eater. I only run 1 because I get stuck on Demon Eater so often, and when I'm on Demon Eater, there's not a lot I can do. So Demon Eater, it's a grade 3 with the Protect gift marker, and when it's on the Vanguard, when your Guardian is retired, you may put that card into your soul. So that first ability is not really bad. If it's the first grade 3 that I ride, I'm okay with that. I can get a few cards into the soul. That's perfectly fine. But its second ability activates when it's on the Vanguard or the Rear Guard. So when it attacks, you counterblast and put 1 other Rear Guard into your soul. You draw a card, and until end of that battle, it gets plus 10,000 power. Then if you soul blast 10, and your opponent cannot call guardians from his or her hand, so you prevent them from My bad. Not Guardians, Sentinels. They can't call Sentinels. So it prevents them from blocking with... it prevents them from guarding with perfect guards. She can get up to 22 on her own, 32 if I combo her with like Prisoner Beast, but I get stuck on her so often that I ended up taking her down to 1. She's not bad, I don't like running her at more than 1. So next up, we have 3 Ghoulish Despoiler. He originally was at 2, as was Demon Eater, and I bumped the Despoiler up to 3, and I'll explain why in a second. So he's a grade 3. He does have the Protect gift marker. When he is placed, you Counterblast 1, and you Soul Charge 2. And you return up to 1 grade 2 or less card from your soul to your hand. So if you have some key grade 2s that are in your soul that you would like back so you can use their abilities again, you use his ability and you take them back. Normally I grab Gwen the Ripper, or if I need some extra power and I have a Verrucalacus in the drop zone, I'll grab Blood Sacrifice Ruth then. And then his other ability is why I like running him a lot at more than Demon Eater. So when it attacks a Vanguard, and this is on the Vanguard circle, so when it attacks a Vanguard, if you have 10 or more cards in your soul, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, and this unit gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So he powers himself up. He's a free retire with no counterblast. All you have to do is have 10 cards in the soul. That's why I like running him at 3 and Demon Eater at only 1. So that is Ghoulish Despoiler. And then rounding out the Dark Irregulars, I told you this was a No Life King Death Anchor deck, and it is. I have 4 No Life King Death Anchors, and as you can see, I got lucky and I got my SVR No Life King Death Anchor. He's got a nice purple background with that gold trim and Breakdown Death Breath. So, No Life King is my favorite card in the deck. He just looks cool and his abilities are really great. I do not remember, I don't have his remembered yet, so I will read this off. So, on the Vanguard circle, when placed, you Soul Charge 1, and this unit gets plus 2,000 until end of turn for each card in your soul. I think I've gotten nearly 5,000 power with that first ability before. Or not 5,000, 50,000. I've nearly gotten 50,000 power with that first ability with Death Anchor. And that is just a fat stack of power swinging at your opponent. His second ability, also on the Vanguard, at the end of the battle that it attacked, if you have 13 or more cards in your soul, you Counterblast 1 and put a card from your hand and 3 rear guards into your soul. You write a card from your soul as stand, and that unit gets plus 1 critical until end of turn. What I like to do with this is I like to Death Anchor into Death Anchor. So if I have a Death Anchor in the soul and I have all the requirements for his second ability, I will ride Death Anchor over Death Anchor every day of the week. So if I have a Death Anchor on Vanguard, I ride a Death Anchor. I'm getting the Protect marker, and if I have the 3 rear guards if I have the 3 rear guards on field, if I have the power, I'll swing with them. I'll swing with them first. Swing with Death Anchor. Do my checks. Use his skill. Put 1 from hand, the 3 on field into the soul. Re-ride Death Anchor. Because I'm riding him, I get another Protect marker. I get another Soul Charge. It's because when placed, so he is being placed, I get another Soul Charge, which will give him a whole lot of power for however many cards that are in the soul. And then I get to swing again with another fat stack of Death Anchor. So that is why he is at 4, and he will not change from 4 ever in this deck. So that is my Death Anchor Dark Irregular build. It doesn't win all the time because it is a very fickle deck, but I play it for fun. It wins, I'd say, over 50% of the time, but I built this deck simply because it looked really, really cool. I wanted to build Shadow Paladins, but 2 of my other friends also wanted to build Shadow Paladins, so it's like, okay, I'll build something else. And I got a lot of the Dark Irregular support, so I went with that. So if you have any constructive criticism or suggestions, leave us a comment, and hey, maybe I'll try that out. Once again, this has been Cole from GeekLyfe Gaming, and we'll see you next time.